So, man, one of the reasons why I came up with an MB, well, I came up with a channel is sometimes I just literally can't stand the rhetoric that goes on, especially the NBA more than anything, but in sports talking circles in general, but definitely NBA. And I'm an NBA fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Duke Blue Devils fan. I'm a Mets fan in baseball. I'm a Rangers fan in hockey. I'm a Florida State Seminoles fan in college football. Duke Blue Devil fan in college basketball, right? And by extension, I like every other team. Like anything that, like Duke can play lacrosse. And if I'm having watching a Duke lacrosse game, because I love the school, I love the institution in general. The same thing with Florida State. I'm going to root for those teams, right? There's going to be other college teams that I root for as well. Like if St. John's, I'm not a St. John's fan per se. St. John's, Georgetown, those are the teams, schools. Michigan as well. I want those, but I'm not a fan of those. But those are schools I generally want to see do well in every sport they play. Like you rarely will see me root against those college brands. But when it comes down to it, the team that I care most about, unfortunately, is the New York Knicks, right? Fortunately and unfortunately. And I really want people to understand, like, the level of, because I take it personally and again, I take it personally because I understand that most NBA fans now, especially in today's age, and I blame, a lot of the blame I place on ESPN. Because I think they've done ESPN in general, the whole Disney umbrella, I think they've done a horrible job with the NBA product. And unfortunately, they bid, and they moved basically TNT's coverage over to, so TNT's Inside the NBA show goes over to ESPN. From what we hear, is going to be the same show. They're going to try to keep it as the same show. And they're going to move over, they're going to move everything over. And hopefully, maybe TNT, who does a good job. They do a good job because, again, they're honest. I don't always agree with everything they say on it, but you got three guys who are former players, and Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck, who are very honest with their takes. Again, sometimes they should, but at least they do a decent job of telling the story on the television. And I think this is why a lot of us old heads, some of I remember when the games were on CBS, not even really thinking much of it. Okay, CBS was the one network that covered the NBA. And then NBC took over. And NBC, for the 13, 14 years they had the product, they did a great job of telling storylines. And they gave you a reason to root for every team that they put on their television. I mean, you didn't see many Memphis. I don't know if I can go back and think of many Memphis Grizzly games. But let's say they had one. Let's just say they had one. They would do a great job of telling you who the star of Memphis was. Or back then it was Vancouver. I think they moved to Memphis. They might have moved to Memphis like in 03, 04. I can't remember. But, the Raptors, look, when Vince Carter became a star, when the Olympics, they do a great job of, NBC Sports is just superior to everything Disney does in their sports department. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. ESPN is part of the Disney umbrella. And again, ESPN at one point, and I think, they talked about it, where ESPN sells you narratives. And they sell you stars. They don't sell you teams. And again, I think that's one of the big reasons now why, for those who grew up on ESPN coverage, you have so many casual fans. You have so many bandwagon fans. And, it is what it is now, right? It is what it is. You know, these fans can't understand, and I get back to this with the Knicks. These fans can't understand why somebody actually takes pride in a franchise that doesn't win or doesn't have a long list of championships. Now let's look at it. First of all, every team has a diehard fan base. Every team has a second. Washington. I mean, every team has a diehard fan base. The thing is, if you don't live in the general area, like if you don't live in Oklahoma, like for example, unless you live in the Midwest, OKC, North Dallas area, I mean, you're not gonna see too many OKC Thunder fans. You're not gonna see them in Seattle. I know that much. They divorced that franchise. Right? Nobody, very few Seattle fans said, "Oh, let me go there." They took our team away from the city. Let me go down and root for them. Think about it. Kevin Durant was drafted to Seattle. They didn't go. Russell Westbrook was drafted to Seattle. They didn't go down to OKC and said, "I'm still going to love this team." No. They divorced the whole franchise. And so there are, and again, it's very regional. It's very regional. But when it comes to the Knicks, Lakers, and Celtics, a little bit of the Heat, I want to say a little bit of the Bulls, you're going to meet, no matter almost where you go, you're going to meet people who consider themselves diehard fans of those teams. And that's the thing, right? Okay, Spurs too. A little bit Spurs too, and they got a lot of success. I think most of the real diehard Spurs fans are down there in Texas. But you'll meet some Spurs again. So most of the fans you're going to see from other places. So when it comes to those teams, you're going to run in, when the playoffs is going on, you're going to run into those, especially with the Knicks. You're going to run into fans of those teams. And you're going to, to the point you're going to be kind of annoyed about. And it's really the Knicks fans. Because what it seems like, what the issue is that people look at Knicks fans and our passion, and y'all miss a lot of things. Again, I say this, this was a lot easier in the 90s. Because when the Knicks were battling the Bulls, again, and it was 20 years. The Knicks made it to a couple of finals in that decade. The Knicks were largely successful. Again, we probably was always a piece away. And, you could just say, who are you a fan of? Well, my team is better than yours. And so the Knicks have, unfortunately, gone through about 20 years of a lot of changes. Outside of a couple of years when they had Melo, they were largely an inept team. Like any other team, again, they went through a rebuilding process. And their rebuilding process in the 2000s was longer because they made a lot of missteps. They made a lot of missteps. They tried to get back on top real quickly. They put a team that didn't really mix, didn't really have an identity, didn't play much defense. They tried again with Melo. They got a good superstar in Melo, and they put players who weren't exactly the optimal type of player. They didn't give him a second bona fide scorer. They gave him, the defense was hinged on one guy, and Tyson Chandler. And when Tyson Chandler got hurt, so the team fell apart really quickly. They then drafted Kristaps Porzingis. Thinking that put the triangle offense in there, hire Jeff Hornacek, again, all of the things that did happen with the Knicks in the 2010s, again, led them back to scrapping it again, and then getting to this era. So again, you see a lot of thirsty Knicks fans, and I think that's the issue that people have, because somehow they want history. And I say this because, bro, I sit there and I say, bro, you guys root for football as well. Most basketball fans also like football. Obviously, one sport will take precedent over the other. Some of these guys are again, some of these guys are bigger football fans than they are basketball fans. And when they go to, when you talk to them about their football team, you can't tell them nothing. They can be a Jacksonville Jaguars. What have the Jaguars done? They could be a Bears fan. Again, 93A, I told them on this, you're a Bears fan, right? The fuck have the Bears have done since 85? You told me about the one Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, again, this is not, look, I understand the passion of a Bears fan. I understand the passion of a Chicago, I understand the passion of Vikings fans. I understand the passion of, again, you talk about teams that haven't won. They might have got to one Super Bowl. Or one guy. Look, when they compare us to Cowboys fans, I want you to understand one difference. Cowboys fans are very just as prideful. I'm not saying they're delusional because the Cowboys have put together a lot of contenders. But if you understand something, the Cowboys have not even played in an NFC championship game since 1995, the year they won their last championship, their last Super Bowl. Or it was in 96. The Super Bowl took place in 97. It was the night, hold on. Cowboys won in 92. They won in 92. Then they won again in 93. Yeah, it was a 95 season. No. 94 was, yes. 94 was San Francisco. So Cowboys had won 3 championships in 4 years. And 1995 was the last. 96, it was, I know New England made the Super Bowl. They did not play Dallas. So I got to really go. But either way, you're talking about 30 years, and they didn't even play in the Final Four. And they've had teams that were crowned as contenders. ESPN, for the whole decade of the 2000s, this is when they had Tony Romo as quarterback, would crown them champion. Like the year that my Giants won in 07. The Cowboys were the odds-on favorite. Not only were they odds-on favorite before the season, they would, after like 2 more years before that, they were the odds-on favorite. They were a 1 seed going into the playoffs. And the Giants went into Dallas and beat them in the playoffs. Okay? It was the 07 season. They've had 1 seed. They've had a lot of good teams. And so their teams underachieve. The Knicks have finally put together a couple of nice teams. And then our fans have a little bit of expectations. Yeah. When we beat Boston, we should have realized we should have been in. But of course, then we went, had the monumental choke. I covered it here. I didn't sit there and duck any smoke. And that's the thing, we don't duck smoke. We would think about if you really got a Knicks fan that you love. If you know a Knicks fan that you love, like, a Johnny from Goat Game Kingdom, he said his wife is a Knicks fan. Understand this. We were told all year by the media, and again, I fought it at every chance. You guys cannot beat Boston. Boston is, and I said, bro, we've been playing Boston tight. This same group of Boston. We might have changed a couple players on the Knicks, but it's the same group of Boston. And technically, we're better than the teams that have been battling Boston for the last 3 years. We got better players. Like Karl-Anthony Towns is a better player than Julian Randle. Certain things that, so, while it's not exactly the same team, Mitchell Robinson was there. OG Anunoby, for all intents and purposes, is better than RJ Barrett, especially defensively. Same RJ Barrett was battling the same Jason Tatum, who's an MVP level player. When the Knicks went into a double overtime game on opening day a few years ago. The Knicks and the Celtics have not been, that was just the Celtics actually put it together and went on a championship run. They went on a couple of finals run, a conference finals run, and then, think about it, yeah. The fact of the matter is the Knicks are now putting things together. And so the Knicks are that Knick pride is going to come out. What's the fucking difference than you guys, who again, a lot of people It's like you can't put two and two together. See, I root for my teams. I root for the Knicks more than anything, but I root for my Giants. Big time. When the Giants are ready, I will spot a contender. I will spot a team that I know that can go all the way because they got the quarterback and they got the defense, and I will ride every game. What's the difference? What's the difference? And that's what. And again, this is where because you guys are low invested bandwagon NBA fans who just happen to swoop in and you play the field and I like this player. Talking to a guy that's a Curry fan and compared us to Cowboy fans. You are a fan of one fucking guy. How can you tell us that we're like Cowboys fans? You like one guy. Well, fortunately, he's been, but you didn't like him to 2014. You didn't like him in 2010. You didn't say, oh, Curry's that next dude. Trust me. You didn't like him till he fucking put a ring on his finger. That's what kills me about most of you fans. You don't understand it. You will never get it. You root for teams when they win. We root for teams for life. You're not built like us, so don't speak on us. You're not built like us. You're built to be a bandwagon, Johnny, what happens when your favorite player retires? Is no longer good. What happened that year that Steph Curry didn't play? Well, you didn't watch basketball that year? That's the Steph Curry fan? Or the LeBron fan? Or the KD fan? Again, you guys root for faces. We root for organizations. We root for the front of jersey. We root for team colors. You're not built like us. We're built like the football fans. Because you don't... you might have a few Mahomes fans. Again, people who didn't know where this motherfucker went to school. You just root for the last thing that's got hot. I knew that Mahomes was going. I knew that the Chiefs got a big steal with Mahomes because I knew the way they ran offense down at Texas Tech. That was going to translate to the NFL. I saw the way he wheeled, and then I said, guess what? In the modern NFL, it was going to work. I knew Mahomes before Mahomes. I knew Mahomes before most Chiefs fans. Nobody in the Chiefs said, oh, we got a real one. Nobody. Very few, if any, those that I encounter. But now you come now with the successes going, and now you're wearing it like a badge. That's the difference. I knew this Knicks team would get things together. And now, I'm going to enjoy it, but I got to enjoy it with haters talking shit on, bro, you're not built like me. You don't know this game like me. And whatever team, player, or whatever else you root for, I knew about it before you did. Whatever you're going to tell me this high, so how dare you tell me, and Knicks fans, again, there's a lot of Knicks fans that just on the bandwagon as well, but again, they're Knicks fans because they're Knicks fans, bro. They're Knicks fans because they're Knicks fans. They can come up to Uncle Ro and learn about who's who. And learn about, that's why I do the Optimistic Knicks fan. To speak about channels. To speak about the moves and everything else. Where do we go from here? Because I saw this come up. I saw Leon Rose. I let Leon Rose do everything. He's been right on 85 to 90% of his moves. No whiffs. There's been no strikeouts with anything he's done. And so, again, they deserve our trust going forward. Again, I think I know what we need to do to really get over the hump. But again, you got Knicks fans who were told we're not in Boston's league. We're gonna be Boston. Y'all come up with every reason why we did, except for that the Knicks were better or at least played better. Oh, the Boston didn't execute. Okay, were we not guarding them? Did we not have two defensive player of the year level players on the wing guarding them? And again, that same team, that same two guys kind of struggled against Indiana. And Bridges took Halliburton out of the game, and now here comes Halliburton was just, bro, you can't play like that. You can't play like that. You can't play like that. Halliburton's not that dude. Halliburton didn't do shit to the fourth quarter. He came in with, after that momentum shifting call, they took the Deuce 3-on-1 three-pointer away. Then he comes in and he drops a floater down a wide open lane after Knicks turnovers. He ain't built like that to sit there and say, oh, I could just blow this game because we're up 3-1 and come back and end it at home. No, you don't play like that because you don't even have home court to do some bullshit like that. Okay? So at the end of the day, I'm just addressing a lot of you casual fans, bro. You guys are fucking casuals. And again, hey, look, the league, the ESPN and all that bullshit will do everything it can to bring you casual fans on. Because again, that's more eyeballs, you spend more merchandise, you'll buy the latest Steph Curry jersey. Because again, those are the only three players you know. Steph Curry, LeBron, and you didn't know who SGA was before he won the championship. You barely know who the Joker is because he beat LeBron and he beat KD. You only know who Draymond Green is because he plays with Steph Curry. You fucking, so I'm sorry, but y'all make me, it's like talking to you guys make me sick. You're just casuals. You have a low investment and you can't understand. Even though you invest in a bum-ass football team who's never won anything, who can't even get you to a goddamn 2 playoff games in the 30 years you've been rooting for them. You can't understand the Knicks going on a good ride when we have a solid playoff run. You can't understand that. You can't understand us, bro. I can't understand us coming outside and just being in the environment. You can't understand it. I'm sorry for you. But you need to love something like we love our Knicks. But you'll love LeBron. The same guys will sit there and defend LeBron James. That's one motherfucking nigga who don't know you exist. At least the Knicks family is out there, bro. At least Stephon Marbury will roll the streets with Knicks fans. At least Knicks alumni will pay you attention. Motherfucker, LeBron don't know you exist, but you're sitting in every little discussion and debate protecting this dude like you're protecting your fucking wife. I'm getting crazy because it's just, and again, maybe I really should do a job of it, but bro, I'm sorry. Yes, what we do, we invest in teams, and yeah, we want to see positive chat. I got to see everywhere, all over social media. Knicks fan this, Knicks fan that, Knicks fan that, Knicks fan this. And it's the same people who, when I bring up their football team and how loyal they are to a football team that's 1-0 in 40 years, 1-0, not even gotten you to a goddamn conference finals. Maybe some of these guys, you see one conference finals, one conference championship game in your life. I got 4 Super Bowls with the Giants, fellas. I've been to 2 championship parades with the Giants, fellas. Like it's fucking amazing. So again, if the Knicks, we didn't throw a parade. We went to the people that went to the watch party, then dispersed after the game, and they walked the streets. They celebrated and they went home. That's what you saw. You just saw a lot of them. Because it's a lot of us. That's what you see. You'll see people proudly wearing their Knicks hat, their Knicks jersey around the country. You don't get it? Okay. Again, if you root for a football team, we're a football level fan base. We have, again, the rest of these teams, you guys root for a player. And if Steph Curry was traded to the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow, them Steph Curry fans, them all of a sudden Golden State Warrior fans will be rooting for fucking Steph Curry. You can't make it up, man. For the Charlotte Hornets. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. And the level of disconnect, bro, it's like some of you guys got fucking eggs for brains, bro. But okay, it is what it is. Continue to hate on the Knicks. Continue to lie. Continue to talk. Make a big deal about that idiot in the Halliburton jersey. But again, you got Knicks fans getting jumped. I saw the footage. 20 Pacers fans on 3 Knicks fans. They had to do all of that in the arena with the security there. That's something that happened with the idiot when the Halliburton jersey was on the street. Again, was it acceptable? No, they shouldn't have did it. But you got 3 people in the crowd. Who decides? A fucking firefighter. decides I'm gonna throw I know I literally patrol and save people. Like, I'm a first responder, and I'm gonna throw in a Halliburton jersey. I'm gonna leave my firehouse during my time off, throw in a Halliburton jersey, and go try to antagonize Knicks fan. Think it's gonna work out for me. And then they made this guy a sympathetic fucking figure. He needs to get fired, bro. Look, you know, salute to him. Salute. I mean, he probably says a lot of that, but come on, man, it's really stupid. Like, police officers, first of all, they can't afford to make stupid decisions like that. Like, I wouldn't want to know that this guy fucking came to a 4-alarm blaze at mine. You know, whatever. End of the day, the haters, the vitriol. There's a lot of other subjects. I didn't want to just make the Knicks post because you see a lot of others, just stupid stuff, man. And again, if you guys can't understand fandom, if you can't understand people being passionate for their team, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? This is the age of social media that connects more of us. And again, like I said, a lot of people are low-level invested in whatever team they get, so they can't understand a high-level investment. They can't understand how a team can root for people can root for an NBA team. It doesn't. And it's so in the NFL, it's a real league of parity. The NBA has just become a league of parity, where pretty much you get a star. If you get a star player like Shaq and Kobe, like a LeBron in whatever iteration of a super team he did, when you had Jordan, you were going to have a good chance because the game itself is linked to the dominant star. So you were going to win championship. The NFL gives a different team a chance to win every year. You don't have much back-to-backs. You don't have many dynasties because it's very hard to keep an entire team together. Okay? It's very hard to keep an entire team together. And you need an entire team to win it. You can't just win with a quarterback. Pat Mahomes has to be blocked for. Pat Mahomes has to have weapons. He can't just throw to himself. And that's the difference. Yes, in the NBA you need a team as well, but you don't. The game was put where you can have 2 or 3 stars, the rest of the team be okay average players, and still win a championship, still get to the finals at the very least. This is why LeBron fans brag about the 10 finals, even though it was a downhill run for him to get to those finals. But they brag about it because that's what he wound up doing. He wound up getting to the finals, and that was pretty much. Got lost to a better team, and now we're going to say, well, the finals is a championship. Again, if the Knicks lose to a better team, they lost to a team that play better. I still won't, I've been arguing about, the Indiana, because the idea is that going forward, the Indiana just got the Knicks number? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. If the Knicks ran it back, I think the Knicks will beat Indiana in a series next year. Easily. Again, I'm going to say easily, but what we got to do is get a better coach. But the Knicks actually, as I put in my earlier video with a Knicks fan, the Knicks actually have a chance to go for a bigger fish. And a good chance. So, I'm going to end it here. Just in general, bro, the finals should be a good one. It should be entertaining. I think OKC is just a little bit better. My official prediction is OKC at 6 because I learned not to underestimate Indiana. I've learned that the hard way. Indiana has a lot of punching power, so it's not going to be easy to dominate them. Even next year, I said the Knicks could easily beat. Well, if the Knicks did what they need to do, because I think we have the better stars, the better roster overall. But yeah, OKC should win in 6. You're going to see the battle of foul merchants. But, OKC has a real solid top-to-bottom team. Again, you got 2 teams that have 10, 11, 12 guys. So, that you can count on. And there's going to be a lot of names you never heard of. As I had one. I heard of Ben Shepherd. Low-key heard of Ben Shepherd, but I didn't hear of no Will or Tony Brown. I don't even know which one of his first name. But I don't even be either. But yeah, and again, OKC, another team that guys that I know the names because I've seen the box scores, but I couldn't tell you who they were. But I think the better cast of characters is on OKC, so OKC is 6. All right, guys, enjoy the finals, enjoy the rest of the week.